Hello and welcome everybody out there in YouTube and D&D land. If you are enjoying this content, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you can help us out to continue to grow. If you are interested in joining our community and playing inside of any of our games, then please consider checking out our Patreon down below. We do have open slots available in many of our games, and all of them go through the Patreon. And even if you just want to join in and hang out with a bunch of people that do nothing but play D&D, I don't know, some of you might have other hobbies. I know a lot of us don't. Yeah, just swing on by and hang out with us. But without further ado, let's get to it. I definitely need to adjust that webcam. It's like cutting off half my chin. Looks like I'm trying to hide the fact that I'm a ball chinian. Anyways, Creve, go ahead and tell us what happened.
Right. So, when we started last time, we were at the bottom of this, large chamber that held this old, ancient tree that is supposedly sentient. And, the previous session, KL had he had found an orb of sorts, which was located a bit higher up in the chamber, where we found out that there was a captured celestial inside, a deva. And yes, I'm saying deva. So we didn't get to do too much more with that at that point, but last session we figured out that this deva was connected via an intricate series of, tubes, I guess, to some pods that were strewn about the bottom near the roots of the tree. And each of those pods held a humanoid creature of sorts that seemed to be draining the blood of the deva. Before we did anything more about that, though, before we tried to do anything about that, Rorik went up to one to inspect it a little bit closer, and it attacked him by biting at him, but it was still constrained by the pod itself, so it didn't get to actually hurt him. But it also let out a wail of sorts that woke up a Cerberus, a large three-headed dog that was sleeping not too far away. So it immediately went into hostile mode. Creve tried to talk it down at first by saying something in Infernal, which Mikit picked up on, but it hasn't been revealed yet to the rest of the party what that exact thing was. We managed to defeat the Cerberus quite quickly, and it was apparently there to guard the entrance to this other chamber that Creve had noticed previously. After defeating it, we did some more research on these pods, and Creve had heard of these kinds of creatures before, and they were apparently something called vampires. We decided to just destroy them all, basically. Creve managed to take some blood from one of them, just to keep for future hijinks or something. We managed to destroy them using fire and radiant light. Let's see.
I'm sorry, I heard radiant lightning, and I just went, lightning! And just...
Yeah, I heard it myself. We went up to try to get inside the chamber that this door was protecting, and we found out soon enough that the door was enchanted magically to protect or ward off would-be intruders by killing them. So yeah, Lindeen was about to open it, but we told her, as the inexperienced and silly recruit adventurer she was, that you just let us take care of it. So yeah, there was like a burst of some kind of energy that was that sustained for a little bit, and it really heated up Kale's skeleton key. But eventually it dissipated, and we managed to not dispel, but open the doors. The doors are still magical, so we shouldn't touch them. But yeah, walking inside the chamber, we discovered that it was it was a study of sorts, but it also had a bed and a desk with quite a few books strewn about. There was a large footlocker which held some personal items belonging to what we found out was Delilah Briarwood, a former archmage in the Empire, who was apparently exiled about 150 years ago or so.
120 or 130, 40, 140.
Yeah, something like that. And some of her personal belongings. And she was apparently on a mission to revive her dead husband and potentially also a child. Because the footlocker held a baby's blanket. Or a baby's, it was a blanket of sorts. We also, we found a number of valuables and some magical books. And one book that Kriv has just performed a ritual to try and understand. So, and there was also a teleportation circle hidden behind a secret wall, or an illusionary wall. We don't know where this teleportation circle leads yet, but we've written down the coordinates, as it were.
But yeah. Aside from that, there was one other moment while everybody was interacting. Lindeen asked Warwick a handful of questions and revealed that she went adventuring for the purpose of finding somebody worthy of wielding a shield, that the previous wielder was her teacher, and after having a conversation with him, decided that it was more appropriate for him to have it than her. So, after all of that, I believe I time jumped you all enough ahead to get out of the hole. Wait for Kriv to recharge his spells, cast fly, go up. Wait for Kriv to recharge his spells, cast fly, go up. Because I think that is the quickest way for your party to do this, yes?
Maybe. But yeah. I'd like to get the contents of that book first, though.
Well, I mean, I think you're forgetting. Rurik has a climbing set.
Oh, shit. Are you going to go climb one of the world trees?
I mean, now that you say it like that, I kind of want to.
And there's one more thing Kree would like to do before we leave the place.
Yeah.
But doing the book first.
All right, so you're just sitting down and reading the book. Oh, what were you saying, Kyle? By the way, welcome, Kyle.
Hey guys, sorry for being late.
No, we're mad at your job, not you.
I'm not sure we actually have what we were looking for, because we were here to find a wall tree and a piece of the king lost, blah blah. So I'm not even sure we have what we were looking for down here. I mean, I'd rather make sure that we have everything before we leave the place.
All right. Well, you all have thoroughly investigated this room, and aside from those tomes and those books, there doesn't appear to be anything else of use.
But we haven't investigated or find a way to investigate the big magic ball or whatsoever that was below the roots of the war tree, emanating a strong transmutation, or I don't remember what magic.
Okay.
What is transmutation?
So-
Kriv, would your eyes be able to look that far and see if you can discern any details under the roots? What Mickey detected earlier on.
Well, I have seen this ball of which you speak, but it's I can't really do anything more with it than just look at it from at this point anyway. But maybe once I have a little bit of time to go through what's in this book, I can attempt something I've been trying to figure out for some while.
Well, at least we have a way to come back fast if we need to. Make it if you think you'll be able to bring us back here if we need.
Yeah, I could. Still have to do something in case the door closes, but I can bring us back at any time now.
Right. Well, so we have a way back then, but
Okay. So at least if we haven't found everything we needed, we can come back at some point. And you're right. Maybe we should read this book in some place a bit more quiet.
well, it's
Is
not very loud here, do you think? It's a study. It's perfect for reading.
I agree. What I meant is that we are still tight on time, and I'm not sure.
Yes, but I mean, if there is something
Seashore
in
won't
this,
wait for us.
if there is something in this book that is irrelevant right now, and we leave, then we might discover it before we can do anything about what it says in the book. So
You're right. How long has it been in Evergero since we reached out to
He's
to
AFK.
Seashore? Oh,
yeah, he had to go close some doors and stuff because of a storm. Close the windows. I think we had. Yeah, we
I'm
managed
sorry
to
about that.
No worries.
No worry.
We managed to
Sorry, I
postpone,
just- I just got a
to,
notification and the rain was coming in sideways, so had to do that real quick. Okay.
I was asking how long has it been since we contacted Seashore?
3-4 hours?
Okay, so we still have. And he said 12 hours, so it means that we still have 3 hours ahead of us before we need to climb back and leave.
And that'll be cutting it that close.
So let's take a couple of hours to read the book and figure out if we can find anything. And if we're tight on time, then we might just have to leave, get the boat, find our resources, rest, read this book, and come back with Mikit's new spell. And hopefully Mikit will have by then another place to take us out, so we don't have to ask Seashore to bring us here again. Do you know any other circle to teleport to, Mikit?
Mikit, did you take the
Safe-ish
spell?
place?
Yes, I did take the spell.
Okay. So you have the one into the Lyceum. That one you remember from being a kid there. And we need to find one other one that you are aware of. You will find one. I will tell you what it is.
There's
And by that I mean soon.
Lyceum one and the one we found here. I mean, there's the third one.
Yeah, you always get 3 when you learn the spell.
All right.
So, hold tight, and I'll let you know. But anyways, who is reading the book? 2 of you can read it at once. It is written in Common.
No, it was written in Hungrul.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I am Okay, yeah. Which means Kyle.
I
Do I
cast
pick that?
I cast comprehend languages last time to read it specifically.
Oh, okay.
Do I speak that?
That unknown language that you don't know what it is, it's that language.
Oh, it wasn't called that way. Okay. For some reason I can't read it. But what it was a journal that was written that way, not a book.
The book as well. Anyways,
Okay.
the two of you can read it. So both of you roll your investigation rolls.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, Creve, but it's really not that fascinating to you in particular. You know, it's kind of like, oh, yeah, that's kind of cool once in a while, and you only pique your attention as Kyle is reading it as well, and you go, oh, yeah, okay. Just waiting to turn pages. But Kyle, this book, the one that you found on her desk, that is the one you are reading, correct? Okay. It writes down a theory that she discovered. In the wake of the death of her husband, she wanted to find out why it was impossible to bring him back to life as an Arcanist, and why other entities weren't going to allow him to come back to life as well, mainly people who belonged to the different churches inside of the Empire. It turned out that fellow members of the Cerberus Assembly from that era were not allowing any of the churches to bring him back, seeing that there was a moment of weakness that she had. Okay. There was a moment of weakness she had, and they wanted to take the opportunity to relinquish her of her role and gain more power within the Empire, as there was a struggle. However, she started looking at outside resources, outside understandings of magic that the Empire did not fully comprehend yet. As such, she made a deal with an individual who belonged to the Cobalt Soul to bring her into Xhorhas so that she can research independently inside of some of their ruins, learning that they have a religion around bringing people back to life after they died, and that is all she knows of knew of the religion at the time she was writing this. She wanted to find out what the arcane nature involved with that was, so that she could manipulate it, understand it better, and bring it to fruition. Now, most of this means absolutely nothing to many of you, until you get to the point where she went over to the Eye of the Sea, or the Eyes in the Lake. When in that location, she noticed that the magic there was much more potent with arcane potential and untapped and raw. And she wanted to start trying to discover a way that she could manipulate it within herself. She found a map there that told her of a different location outside of Incanter's Rest on the far end of the Blight Shore. And that was by far the furthest anybody from the Empire has ever been inside of the Xhorhasian territory. She managed to find her way over there, having to kill many agents of Xhorhas along the way, just because they found her and wanted to kill her, but mostly because they were not being helpful towards her. When in that location, she discovered a voice, one that spoke a very foreign-sounding language that somehow translated itself naturally into her own mind. The voice spoke to her as an equal and as an individual that understands what she is dealing with, the pain and loss of another. Though she couldn't discern any of the intents of this voice, the repeated reassurance that it was offering to her was something intoxicating. I'm getting to that part. Thank you, though. And the voice spoke of a concept called laws. Not in the traditional sense that all of you know. Murder, go to jail or get killed. Steal, lose your hands or get killed or go to jail. Those are laws created by mortals in order to share a community, to serve in society, to make sure people don't act outside of these limitations so that people can continue to grow and mold. This law is capitalized. And the creature, the entity, spoke to her of these laws, stating that they were more powerful than any entity. They put the limitations of magic, of existence, of everything into place. And as such, these laws were more powerful than gods themselves. Now, many different gods from the religions that she researched were accountable for one or two laws, as they seem to have a correlation to. But she was more interested in a different law, the law of death. And she began researching it. She left Incanter's Rest and went back to the Empire, on the way creating a few allies. Yes, the lull of death. Creating a few allies along the way. The Jorhasians saw an opportunity to attack the Empire from within and utilize her as their tool, so long as they were willing to give her different artifacts left behind during the raging wars of the Calamity. She wanted anything pertaining to her death at all. She wanted to know everything there was about it, and she continued to find things. Inside of this book, Kyle, you notice that there's a pattern between some of the pages. As you pull at them and move them, the way the words actually form over top of one another from page to page almost draws a design of arcane nature. You start folding some of the pages as you're moving through, which I know is a big no-no in many people's book, but you see that the creases seem to already be there. And after you're done doing this, you see that there appears to be a magic circle inside of this book, hidden. Congratulations, you hit the DC to discover what the magic inside of this book was. There's a teleportation circle in it.
Mikit, here, give me a look at this. Like, there's and Creve, maybe you may know that it's outside of my kind of understanding. I wasn't too present at school for this kind of shit. Like, these symbols here, this circle, does it mean something to you?
Well, I knew there was some kind of magic about the book, but
Well, Makit comes over, and first he slaps you for folding the pages of a book, but then he sees the teleportation circle. Huh.
you'll have to unslap him now.
No, I will not do that.
You'll have to do an unarmed
I will-
attack
I will-
roll to see if you hit his AC.
Oh,
I
Jesus
will-
Christ.
Re-slap twice.
It's all fun and games until the paladin slaps a bitch. Anyways.
Or the Echo Knight.
True. That would hurt
I
too.
don't know. Paladin slap smite.
Yep. You can smite him.
Yeah, he has a point. I don't have it.
Crack. 2d8.
It's good to hear your voice, man.
Anyways.
Well, Mr. IT.
Makit, you look at it, and yeah, it does actually depict a circle written into this book somehow, in encrypted language. And the magic in this book, those pages, when they're folded like that, that is a potential teleportation circle. As in, you could use it, and it's mobile. However, the way it is particularly designed, you can only teleport to its designated location. So, this in the book brings you to a specific point, and nothing can teleport to it.
Oh.
So that means that we can step in the book to teleport somewhere, but we cannot teleport back to the book?
That is correct.
That is very clever. I still don't approve of the way it was made, but that's smart.
And because of the magical nature of the book, when you unfold it, it's not damaged.
The book itself is quite boring, so it doesn't really matter if the pages are bent.
Well, it's not that boring, and I explain most of what I've read.
Right, that is very boring.
Now, there's even more information pertaining to an individual that certain groups in the far reclusive areas of Xhorhas worshipping one that is described as the true king. Now, it continues on that during the time of the calamity, there was an individual who saw the potential of arcane magic and not needing the gods to express their will, and apparently a savant unlike any other, more intelligent than anybody born before him, and more demanding of those that were around him as well. Though born immortal, he was capable of discovering a way to control his own life through a unique magic so that he would not age. He managed to fortify his own body so that it was near impossible to harm him. And he managed to understand Arcanum to such a degree that he could make it absent or present wherever he felt. Now, this individual, she continues to write on how technically they should still be alive, and she should find out where he is. Based off of everything that is written about him in the religions, if it is a real person, he would know more about magic than anybody else in this world. So, she started pursuing him. About halfway through the book, she discovers this location. The place where all of you are standing. And I'm not positive if all of you got the name yet or not. Oh, the Versed Glade. Yes, you did. She writes down how the Versed Glade was one of the societies that used to worship him, but were completely annihilated from existence. Now, she writes worship, though none of them considered it that. They considered it following and aspiring towards a different greatness. But she knows what a cult looks like. The Versed Glade had a very strong affinity towards one concept of magic, death. And that is why she found this location and called it her home. Now, when the city was completely ruined, she managed to go around and discover anything that she can, and found out that death as it were, in the verse glade was actually meant as a catalyst of life. The continuation of afterlife from one individual to the next. And as frustrating as that was, as any very intelligent spellcaster knows, the way to discover spells is to rework them backwards. When you have one concept, work backwards far enough along, and along the way you might figure out how to reverse the effect, reverse engineer it, if you will. And that is what she was doing. She uncovered a location down here. A tomb that was locked somewhere deep within the verse glade. A location that was still under the watchful eye of the Queen of Ravens. That had an aspect of this true king lying inside of it. She uncovered that this was the voice of the true king. Uncovering the fact that this individual had been destroyed in essence, had all of his power ripped and spread, and because of his affinity to Arcanum, they could not destroy it. The champions of gods could not destroy the true king. As such, they had no other choice but to seal it as far away across Exandria as they could. The voice being in this location, she spoke with it for a period of time, where it offered her the chance to work with it. To learn the history that he had, and she decided to manipulate it. To promise it, yes, I will, for sure, allow you to find all of your other components, but first, you need to speak to me about the law of death and tell me everything you know. And over the course of the next several months, she spoke with the true king and learned every single thing about death and the catalyst that it was. These laws, though they are unbreakable in nature, they are not infallible. There are ways to get around them carefully, to a degree that if you were to do this, would count as breaking the law legally. However, there are avatars of these laws that every time something like that happens, their attention is drawn to that location. These avatars are far more powerful than any mortal could withstand. And as such, he told her to not ever do anything that would break the law of death. For death itself, when it walks through an area, is capable of simply looking at an individual and forcing them to die. If the avatar were to walk on any plane, the surrounding area in which it steps upon would be completely inhospitable forever. The landscape itself dry of any nutrient, any useful attribute at all. Frustrated with this, Delilah heeded his warning, but only for one reason. She cannot bring back her beloved if she's dead. You can tell very clearly at this point in the book that her psychological state is breaking. She is not in any frame of reference or mind that anybody would consider her sane. However, though she made the promise with the voice, she writes that she refuses to release it. Introducing an entity that powerful into this world, one that she couldn't control or work with, there's no reason she would ever do that. Instead, she learned one last thing from him. She learned of an individual. An individual that had a strong affinity for death. Born within a plane that experiences nothing but death for its entire existence. Every creature born there, born already a foot in the grave, technically. And everything else there, not abiding by the natural laws of other worlds. Living, dying, so on and so forth. They were stagnant. She found an entity there, born of that land, who found a way to manipulate the law of death. And since it did not fear bringing him or it into existence on that landscape, which was already inhospitable whatsoever, she went to go communicate with this entity. The entity became known as Vecna in this land. And of course, Kyle, you are aware of Vecna's influence on Exandria.
Just by the way, so when I translate everything to people, I talk about most of it, but I don't mention any voice in any ads.
Okay. So that is everything you ascertain from the book from 2 hours of reading on a roll of a 27.
So,
After a little while, I'll hand over the rest to him, and while he's doing that, I want to do something and go out into the chamber, and I'll attempt to do something I've not done before, and I'll use a new invocation I learned.
Ooh.
And we'll try to conjure an earth elemental.
What invocation is that?
Minions of Chaos, it's called.
From where?
Isn't it Tasha's?
I'm not sure. It was in the compendium when I was leveling up last time.
I don't think it'd be in the compendium if it was from Tasha's, because...
No, it wouldn't be. Yeah. That's Player's Handbook? I've never had somebody take that before. I mean, 9th level Conjure Elemental. And you have to use a spell slot. Yeah, sure. And you conjure a Earth Elemental?
Yep, that's the plan.
I'm not giving you any of the fancy ones yet until you uncover what they are, just to give you a hands up. But I have a lot of elementals. You know, for the day where people go outside of civilization and have to fight other things. And you watch as before you, the earth begins shaking slightly in a controlled area. And you hear in the back of your head, Creve, oh, this guy owes me a couple of favors. Don't feel bad about ever telling him to come up here. His name's Steve.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
And you watch as the earth reshapes into a large earthen elemental creature.
Hello, Steve. Right.
Do you speak primordial?
At this point, well, I'm not sure if the comprehend languages would still be active because it's not concentration and it lasts an hour, so.
Then sure, you can understand a little bit.
Right.
Oh, fuck. Another one.
Well, sorry. I can't understand. Well, I can understand what you are saying, but I'm hoping that you can understand what I'm saying also. I'll just nod your head if you can. Okay, good. You see, under that tree over there, there is a kind of large orb. I was hoping that you might go down there below it and see if you can move it up to the surface over here. Just pull it down. Pull it up, I mean.
You watch as the creature spins in a circle and then and it just immediately digs a tunnel down into the ground. Dig a tunnel, dig a tunnel, dig a tunnel, dig a tunnel. All of you kind of like hear all of that, and if any of you speak Primordial, yeah, there's an Earth Elemental out there.
What was that?
Oh, it's just a new friend. His name is Steve.
I was worried we might have to dig before the things come.
It's probably Kriv being horny again.
No, I have another spell for that.
Of course you do.
Actually, roll me an athletics check with Steve, please. And you know what? We should pick a better name for Steve, because Rocky. Yeah.
Steven.
Yeah.
Steven Rockborough.
Boulder. Now speak in capital letters.
I am the
Balboa.
boulder.
Balboa. Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, you have the character sheet, by the way.
Oh, I do.
It's in PC NPC sheets.
Yeah, I'm there. I see it now.
So 11 plus...
Well, he doesn't have athletics as a skill, it looks like, but he has a
So
plus 5.
strong.
Yeah, 16.
All of you feel the chamber around you shakes aggressively, and Ein, you hear the scream of that tree howl out in pain.
Well, he's doing a good job at torturing and making the tree pissed off. At least I can hear it screaming from here. So, what are you guys' opinions?
He's hurting it? Why would he do that?
Yes.
Grieve.
I don't know.
Grieve, what are you doing?
Well, I just told him to remove that orb under the tree. Or bring it up here, so we could study it.
Well, according to Ein, you're really hurting it.
I'm not hurting anything.
Well, whatever you did is hurting it.
I mean, the tree is screaming out loud that in pain, at least.
The tree is an evil entity that wants to destroy everything, right? What do you care?
The tree is an entity that's just been twisted by horrible people and things that have happened to it.
It's a tree. I can understand where Ein goes, but what about the rest of... What about you, Warwick?
Wait, can you say that again? I didn't quite catch it.
It's a tree. I can understand why Ein would care, but why do you care, Warwick?
Why shouldn't I care? It's still a being that can think and feel, apparently, even if its current thoughts are twisted. It means it has the capacity to change, because it already changed into something bad, but it doesn't mean that it can't change back.
The Earth Elemental comes back up.
No. I can't take that. It's a seed.
What do you mean? Yeah, well...
It's a seed attached to the tree.
So you can't remove it? Is that what you're saying?
Not without killing the tree.
Well, the tree is already sort of dead. I mean, look at it. It's petrified. Hey, you would probably like it more if it's petrified, right?
I guess I could.
We're kind of leans over, whispers. I think he's talking to it, telling it not to do it. That's good. I'm glad that he's listening to other people.
Do any of you have Primordial as a language?
Nope.
Nope.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
So, you want me to go down there and kill the tree?
Well, can you see if there is anything inside the seed? What do you know of these seeds, by the way? What does it do? Can it be planted elsewhere?
Roll intelligence check for it. It's not very smart. Oh, hey! It's not
Apparently it
smart.
is.
People bury seeds to grow trees.
Right. Hey guys, it's saying that the thing underneath the tree is a seed. So if we remove it, we could probably plant the tree somewhere else, maybe free from this place. That would probably be better, right? You know, have things that are despoiled and stuff, have it grow anew. Isn't that better than just...
I mean, that's if first tree seed is still connected to a tree, it means that the seed hasn't finished being generated. So possibility is that if you pull out the seed, both die at once. So plus, if there is a seed, it's a better way to tell any other high-ranking clerics or druid to purify both at once for more effect.
Well, they would still have to fight their way here through those lonely things. Steve, go and take out the seed. Bring it up here.
Okay. Alrighty. So,
yeah, I'm staying in the chamber, not in the tree area.
alrighty.
Just staying in the fortified room.
Well, and if you say it's a good idea to take the seed out, then I trust your wisdom on this, as you're the follower of the Wild Mother.
I see the exact opposite.
Okay. Well, if none of you are going to actively tell him to stop, then that's what we're doing here. Cool.
Well,
I mean, I already gave my 2 cents, so I don't know if anyone else wants to stop it.
Rurik doesn't know enough about this shit. He's trusting Ain's knowledge of Wild Mother nature's shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's why I said it's better to leave it and let someone else come to purify it. So
Oh wait, no, you said that, and Kreve is still okay.
Yeah. Because Creeve's talking common.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay,
told
thought he
it
was...
in common to go down and take it out.
Kreve, Ain just said that we should leave it for now.
But it's, I mean...
Kreve, come on.
Roll me a persuasion.
Oh,
well.
God.
Let's do this.
Hey, keep in mind, you have your channel divinity.
I do. I hope I won't need it. It's not bad.
I'm pretty sure you won't.
It's much better than my insight can ever be, so...
Yeah.
Should it be persuasion again inside or persuasion again wisdom?
It makes no difference for him.
Fine. Okay, Steve, stop and come back up. I guess we're doing the boring thing, nothing, and well, fine. Did you find anything else interesting down there, by the way?
We're
I
really
can go
racing
look.
great opportunity here.
I can go
What?
look.
Sure, have a look down there. See if you find anything interesting, and maybe some gemstones or stuff like that, you know.
Have it roll an investigation.
So, intelligence again.
Mm-hmm.
9.
9. It comes up with all of these really nice calcium deposits that it has. Oh, lovely.
Look,
Oh.
it's shale.
Oh, great. Right. What was that you were saying, Mikit? Something about an opportunity?
Well, I mean, it'd pretty interesting bring shale from all the way out here. Yeah, McKeith can't say that with a straight face.
Right.
I have a question, Nine. So you said that the seed, it would be good best to leave it till it's purified, but one of the things is that the tree's poisoned, right? I know this is defiled ground, but its thoughts have been twisted and it spreads poison. What if there's a poison? What if the poison's neutralized? What would that do?
Do I need to roll a check for anything about it?
Roll me a nature check.
Well, I'm no expert, Rorik, but I think the best way would be to take the seed out of the poison and the defiled ground.
So, Ein,
23.
Oh, damn.
when a landscape becomes desecrated or diseased, trees are some of the most resilient living things in all of creation. They can handle disease being implanted in them for incredibly long periods of time and deal with the excruciating amount of pain with them. And if they are given just a little bit of hospitality, hospitable landscape, a little bit of resources, a little bit of minerals, and a little bit of good vibes, a tree can take that and fix itself. It might take a while. Now, if the entity that is in question, the tree, is desecrated itself in the manner that you are talking, typically speaking, if a tree is desecrated this much, the right thing to do is to remove it and hopefully regrow it as a new seed. The process of the beginnings of life all the way up to its blooming would be faster and more resilient afterwards, because that tree, it passes on all of its knowledge, all of the things that it has done to its younger self when it regrows as a new entity. However, this tree, it's kind of a toss in the air, in all honesty. This tree, because of its age, because of its nature, as it is from the wilds themselves, as you all discerned, it might be capable of fixing itself quickly. It just needs to be given the opportunity to have that type of environment for itself. Or, because of the nature of it, it may be faster to just regrow another one. Now, you know that this tree in and of itself is an embodiment of magic. You're not sure what that would do to natural magic by killing it. Magic as you know it might change. If you remember from the Draconic section of the stories, everybody, there was 3 trees, and each time one fell, it moved the favor of balance towards the other end. This is the only one remaining. You guys might neuter magic for the entire universe if you do that. Or at least Exandria. Which, I mean, hey, would be fun as shit for me to run. But I think some of the other community members would be very pissed off at you.
No, don't worry. That's a chance for, McKeet and Kale to really go into different subclasses of their stuff, McKee going into fighter or something, and Kale going into full-on rogue.
It would be something. It would be something.
Keith would hate you forever.
But what would Velerace feel?
Velerace would hate you forever.
Velerace already rolled a Cavalier, so he's fine.
Yeah, I was interested in Cavalier. I am interested in seeing what exactly would happen, but I'm also grown attached to Graviturgy Wizard.
But yeah,
are you saying you're being pulled towards it?
Now you just push him away for it.
Certainly an attractive
Okay, I
class.
walked into that.
Yes, you did. But yeah,
But
I
yeah,
mean, on a 23, it's up to you to weigh the pros and cons of either decision.
Mm-hmm.
Do
Well,
we want to fuck with the other community members, or do we want to not?
but yeah, I'll relay it to all of them and just say that it's either a choice of leaving it here and having someone or us coming back to deal with it, since we can already teleport here by its location, or simply enough, there's also the gamble that by taking the seed, killing the tree, you'll make the magic in this world just go haywire or disappear. So
We say we leave the tree and seed alone.
But I thought the point of a seed was that it could survive outside for some time.
The reason
it survive outside, but it would have the power to maintain or keep the magic alive. So there'll probably be years and years, if not since a tree of this magnitude, probably tens or hundreds of years till it germinates with enough power.
Right.
It would render like over the whole of Exandria powerless, basically. If you remember what happened in Draconia with it falling out from the sky.
We are definitely leaving the tree alone.
I mean, it
Can
would be a
we-
fun 10-year-long story arc, right? Sorry, go ahead, Rorik.
Definitely.
The reason I was asking that in particular is because after that encounter with the skeleton and stuff, the zombies that were diseased and poisonous and everything, and when we took that long break, I prayed to the crystal dragon and for the ability to cleanse poisons and everything, and I was just wondering if would I be able to do that on the tree to try to help it, to try to maybe not sanctify it per se, but give it that helpful nudge in the right direction.
Ein, because of your nature role, yeah, that would totally help. But he would have to do that multiple times a day, every single day for like a year.
Yeah, it's a long-term responsibility if you choose that every single day for a whole year without any breaks in between, basically. Since the tree is old and powerful enough, and it's one of the origins from the wild, so whether you like it or not, you won't have enough power to just sanctify it with just a single use.
Wait, so well, according to the spell, mechanically it'll neutralize, one poison, whatever kind of thing. So if that one poison is the whole thing that's causing it, wouldn't that take it away?
The poison itself is not just the poison inside of it, but the poison from the landscape that is filtering into it from the nutrients in the surrounding area. It would take away what it currently has inside of it, but the reason it would take you a year is because you would be neutralizing the entire time for a year for the tree to get strong enough that it can protect itself from it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, think that the tree has an IV of poison going into it.
Well, I think didn't we cut off the IV, or was that?
Okay, yeah. You helped tremendously. However, for it to regrow, it's something that requires time. I mean,
It's from the ivy heart thicket.
I hate you so much.
Pharaoh, I believe you know which sound effect to use.
Yeah.
Am I still reading the book or am I with the group?
I think all of this was happening while you were reading the book and translating
Yeah.
it, because people weren't just sitting there for 2 hours watching you read. But yeah, all of this is kind of happening in the background, and your passive's high enough. You're picking up what they're saying.
But
Easy
what do you think if I make Steve there go and fetch some new soil for the tree? Maybe that would help it regrow or whatever.
Unless we purify the nutrients coming from the whole city, it wouldn't help as much.
Ah well.
Yeah. How big is the seed?
Huge.
Okay, so what are we even discussing here? There's no way we can transport it.
Well, I mean, Steve there could roll
Poor
it
Steve.
around.
Aride just, I don't know.
I feel like I could, you know.
But my point is, like, the only way we could do anything is to take the seed while leaving this tree living. Like, there's just no way we kill the tree to take its seed. Like, no.
Yeah, it seems like it would be irresponsible of us to do that.
There would be too many consequences. However, if we can
But
save
if we
this
find a
tree
place
and
to, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
if we can save this tree and plant a new one, and maybe in a few century or millennium plant a third one and restore what the Dragonborn destroyed back in time, we will be heroes of this plan.
I'm not trying to be a hero, but one thing I had a thought of is I heard about this. I've never seen it myself, but somewhere in the waste of Jorhas, isn't there a giant tree just in the middle of it?
Similar tree, you mean?
I don't know if it's similar. I've heard about it in a rumor, as well as a tourist guide for those that survive. Is somewhere in the waste there's this giant tree.
Metagaming speaking is like the big you're speaking about the wild mother
Yeah,
tree, like
you know which one I'm talking about. I'm just
Well,
I'm saying
potentially
it's
you do. It's not common information for people unless they're. Well, I mean, it's not really common information at all. However, there is the potential.
How is it not? It is a giant tree.
Most people in Jorhas don't travel.
So maybe if we manage to move the seed and plant it underneath that tree, maybe it would channel the energies through that one instead, and maybe help it.
I don't know if that's how trees work.
Well, I don't know how these evil seeds work.
Is that how magic trees work, though?
I mean, it's if you look at trees, it's already quite weird that the seed is growing below the tree. Usually a seed is growing in the flowers of a tree, of the branch. So we are out of our comfort zone regarding trees, even in general.
Well, I mean, our expert here, Ein, knows best about this sort of thing.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is that this tree right here is already petrified. It's made of stone right now. How do you...
It's alive. It's still alive, that's the thing. It doesn't matter if it's petrified or not. It's still holding the principles of the magic of this continent together.
Okay, I suppose.
So unless you want to be a normal person climbing the walls here with tens of hundreds of these crying creatures coming behind you, so that's also the choice.
Changing the nature of magic for this continent, if not the entire world.
Right. Well, I guess we'll just leave then.
That might be the best option.
It's definitely the best option.
Anyway, like, I don't think you could move and we have a way to cut back here at any point if we.
And if we want to heal the tree, maybe we find someone capable of it, someone who could help it, and then we can bring them back.
Right.
And hey, thanks to Makit, you guys can come back.
Okay, so how are we leaving this place then? Are we climbing out and going out the mundane way, or well, I can make some of us fly up there, I suppose, or teleport.
Oh,
I mean,
we
we've
should
got-
probably get going. I think we're cutting it a bit close, and if necessary, I can climb, so don't worry about me.
Well, we've got strong people. They could probably carry some of us, especially if they lighten the load.
Right, and Steve, you could probably
I am very good at climbing.
just bring us up through the walls or something, maybe. I don't know.
It
Can he do
flexes
that?
its arm for you to sit on.
That's a nice flex there, Steve.
Steve, see if you can bring Omen up there, up to the top.
Oh, God, poor Omen.
And it just earth glides up the side of the wall.
I just imagine how this is gonna go. You bring Omen to the top. Like, is it clear? Okay. Drops
and-
Omen. Right before he hits the ground. Right before he hits the ground, you do the little familiar snap so he doesn't die.
Yeah, but
That's for earlier,
Omen
you little dick.
That guy is going to kill you someday.
Certainly gonna
What,
try.
Omen survives.
Oh,
Well,
it
then
can
let's-
earth glide partial body. Earth glide partial body. It doesn't have to be
Alright.
fully inside of it, so,
so
it
he's
can
holding
hold
his
out
arm
its
out of the-
arm and keep the creature going. Yeah.
Ah, okay. Well, let's do it that way then. Steve, I want you to take each of us individually up there.
All right, Kyle, what were you saying? And Steve will begin
was-
to do that.
I was going to suggest that Mikit lower the weight of each of us so that Steve can do it easily.
Yep. I can do
Yeah,
that.
that certainly helps with Arite and Ein. Everyone else, you are not heavy for Steve. Steve is strong.
Steve can take Mikit and I at the same time.
Yeah, just and just places you up there. Ladine just kind of like shakes her head, looking at you all. I am. This is certainly outside of what I anticipated doing.
Welcome to the party.
That's
No,
the thing
no, I'm
about
not staying.
adventures. That's the thing about adventures, young, and things most often don't go as you expect.
Yeah. Well,
Otherwise known as Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will.
whoever the fuck Murphy is, I'm going to stab him. Anyways, I suppose we need to find out a way to get out of the city and keep all of those creatures from killing us. Any great ideas?
Stab them before they stab us.
Well, one thing I had thought about was when you described these creatures before. I can't remember who actually did the whole knowledge thing on them.
Kyle.
Kyle. But you said that it was because of their longing and their desires and their emotions, and I might be able to calm them down a bit, maybe.
My
Could give us the
only.
opening.
I see what you mean, and we could definitely try it. However, they are not ruled by the emotion anymore. They are the emotion. So I don't know if there is anything such as calming it.
Well, it's
Li-
worth a
listen,
shot.
I can help everybody walk much smoother and stuffier than you usually can, and with my lead, we might manage to get out of here unscathed if we don't stumble across too many shit. And if we do, well, then I guess calming them cannot hurt us.
Well, if anything, if we're worried about being too quiet, one thing that's another possibility is it's not so much staying super quiet, it's being super loud somewhere else where it kind of looks to Ein a bit.
She's just scratching her hair, not understanding what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's hard.
I don't
if
know.
you do that,
Lightning doesn't make a sound, so I don't know what you're talking about.
no, but don't you automatically have a not thunderclap, but not thunder wave? What's
Thunder step.
Shatter.
No, not step. Yeah, it might be. I think it's shatter, or it's one of those other ones that's a range spell,
Well,
but it makes a loud noise.
at the thunder wave and any thunder spells make a noise up to like 100 or 300 feet, basically.
Yeah.
Thunder.
Exactly.
Well, I could probably make Steve create like a small, stone fall or something on the other side of the town, maybe.
If he's up to, maybe you can have Omen and Steve help each other to go to the other side of the city and cause a ruckus.
Well, even if I do agree with the ideas of, and I do like the idea of a diversion, wouldn't they put them under high alert while we could actually just not and take benefit of their, like, how do you call it, like when they're not moving at all?
I mean,
these
honestly, yeah, go for it.
These creatures didn't seem altogether there per se. They seemed like they would go to anything that would fulfill those desires you mentioned, like the ones that with the spear arms. They seemed like they would just go if they had a thought of someone was there. So if they knew that there was many things that direction, I feel like they would go towards it. And yes, that would not so much put them on high alert so much as attract them that way.
Right. So
They are very stupid, yes.
So our choice is try to sneak our way into a lot of quiet bodies, or sneak our way through much less but high alert bodies.
I mean,
why not both? Because
why not
the
just
distraction
sneak?
is made, and then you can use your skills and expertise at being sneaky to help us get through where it's quiet and where they're not there.
Or the other way around, we can just sneak, and then if something happens, get a diversion for most of them to just go away.
Yeah, also, I don't know if I'm explaining this in game well enough. It's basically we cause a loud noise to attract them somewhere else, and then Kyle does his sneaky stuff to help us get through where the creatures are leaving from to see what the noise is. Classic stealth game tactics.
Yeah, you throw the pebble, and then it looks that way.
Yeah.
What's that?
Think of them as NPCs in intelligence level, like
Skyrim?
video game NPCs.
And
Yeah,
we just,
Skyrim.
Who's
put
that
a
man?
cardboard box on top of each of us.
Oh, I
Yeah,
took a
you
knee
never
in the
know.
arrow.
A knee in the arrow.
You took a knee.
Arrow in the knee. Sorry. All right.
Guys, my knee hit an arrow.
Well, it was nice knowing you.
Oh no, don't worry.
That was very erroneous.
But anyways, so the plan is, as I understand it, Steve is decoy making noise someplace else. All of you denim, and sneak past.
Yep.
Okay. Steve will look at you.
Dick.
You just make noise, and when they start coming, you just sink into the ground and just lure them around there for a little bit.
All right. Have it roll a survival check. So wisdom.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
Not bad. Are they wise? No. Damn, he's rolling better than any of you.
Yeah.
So anyways, Steve will go out into the city. And all of you will start to hear loud rumblings of the rocks out in that area, followed by the incredible wails of each of these different types of creatures running in those directions. Steve is going to probably evade them for a period of time. How long that is, none of you are quite sure. I would like a stealth check. Now, one thing that we haven't been doing that is my responsibility to keep track of is when you are stealthing for longer than a couple of minutes at a time, you can't add your guidance to that because you have to break stealth to guidance, and then it'll just keep going and going and going. So, yeah.
By the way, since we did short rest, as you said, after that short rest, Rurik is going, like, probably while discussing in the tea and stuff, that is going to be his inspiring. He's going to, give everyone those temp hit points.
All of you are inspired. Also, keep in mind, you can give that to your dog as well.
I think, oh yeah, he is still alive. Okay. No, he's not, because the damn Cerberus. Fuck.
Oh, yeah.
No, what did that lightning snake thing breathe on it or something?
No, it was the Cerberus.
So
the way,
what's your charisma, sorry, Rory?
It's a 13 now because we leveled up, so it's 13.
Hey. So what were you saying, Kreef?
No, I was asking about how many temp HP we got.
There we go.
All right. Oh yeah, Jero, you said the noise from the things. Do we also hear the noise from the one that was totally different than the others?
Roll me a perception check. Let's find out.
Yeah, that's the most important one because perception.
Thank you.
13.
Pass without trace.
It's kind of hard to tell. There's a lot of them. But anywho, everybody go ahead and roll your stealth checks. Because Steve is going to keep them distracted for a long period of time, you all have advantage. So no disadvantage. Straight rolls for you guys.
Oh, okay. So 14.
That still doesn't help Rurik.
Well, you got a plus 10. Wow, I actually have to pull out the calculator for this. Okay, let me roll hers. Ooh, that is a 15 plus 1, 16. Not bad. So 26 plus 22 plus 24 plus 15
13.
plus 34 plus 14, 24. Divided by 7. Your group's average comes out to 21.
Well,
Very
if something
good.
can detect us, I am just more scared of death than I am getting away from it.
I mean, that's why I was asking about the different one because that guy was kind of intelligent from the look, from the sound of it.
Hey guys,
So-
technically even Kaya wouldn't see us going through, passing through.
Yeah, because it's passed without trees. That's why Kyle can see.
Thank
So?
God for pass without trace.
So, as you are all moving, yeah, that's fine. It's reasonable. You've already proven yourself you can attune to it. As you all begin moving through this area, very carefully, going through many of the homes and listening for the wails of those creatures in different faraway locations, you all manage to stay at least 100 feet away from any bigger clusters of them, and only having to fall into more sneaky stealth mode when you come across some of the stray, bipedal-looking, almost dog-like ones of these creatures. Now, I say dog, but they more look like bipedal fish that are like saggy skinned and gnarled teeth that are in a circular shape as they are moving. Now,
Oh,
you
the
all just
hungry
stay hidden.
ones?
Well, they're one of them. There's a lot of these different critters down here. So, you all continue to sneak on past, very carefully, moving through this city, and after 1 hour of travel, you all make it back on the outskirts of it. Now, unfortunately, and I'll tell him when he gets back, Steve is dead. However, all of you have made it outside of this city down here. And I think that'll be a reasonable place for us all to go ahead and go on break, everybody. Everyone, we will be right back.
Okay.
All right.